In today's video, I'm going to go through 7 things that your recruiter either can't or won't share with you during your job application process. It is my hope that after watching this video, you'll be a little bit more clued up into what goes on behind the scenes when you're applying for a job and avoid some of the common mistakes that job seekers make so that you don't ruin your chances for getting that job. Let's get into it. So the first one is that they don't work for you. Most job seekers don't know this, but recruiters don't work for job seekers. They are hired by a company to fill a vacancy. That's their job. They work for the company. So yes, of course, they're going to have the company's best interests at heart because that is who is paying them for filling the vacancy. So unfortunately, job seekers, recruiters don't work for you, but a good recruiter still has the best interests of both the candidate and the client in mind. They only get paid if that candidate actually signs a job offer. So if they don't take care of you during that job application process, you might not end up signing the offer and they'll lose a sale. So a good recruiter should still take care of their candidates. Number 2, recruitment in a large recruitment company is actually more of a sales job. If you know anything about sales, you know that the main thing with sales is that it's driven by targets that you need to meet, and that is how your performance is measured and evaluated based on the sales that you make. And in the case of recruiters, these sales are how many vacancies that they fill up. They are driven to close the deal as quick as possible and also to fill as many vacancies as possible because that is how they're going to get paid. So now if you know this, if you know that recruiters are driven to fill the vacancy as soon as possible and to fill as many vacancies as possible, what you can do to make their life easier is to be the ideal candidate. To respond to your emails as soon as you get them, to always have your phone on so that when they try to reach you, they get hold of you, that kind of thing. Make their lives as easy as possible so that you don't miss any of their communication. The third thing that job seekers might not know is that most of the time they only skim through CVs that they receive. They are so busy. Let me give you a typical morning of what a recruiter's day might look like as I've been told. So let's say they come in the morning, sit down, maybe make a cup of coffee, and they get to work. So they'll open the job portal that they use to monitor their applications that they receive. While they're doing this, they're looking through the CVs that came in maybe the night before. As they're doing this, maybe their boss walks in and asks them a question about one of the clients that they're busy with, and so they answer this, they continue to do this, then they receive a phone call from a candidate checking up on how the job application process is going. Next thing, they have a team meeting that they have to go through. So you must understand that at any given point, a recruiter is juggling many balls in the air. And yes, of course, placing the candidate is their top priority. But the job has many aspects to it that we might not be aware of. So for some of the CVs, they may have a full minute to look at it in detail and everything that you put in. But other CVs, they literally maybe had 3 seconds before they had to jot off and do something else. So yes, this is frustrating because as job seekers, we put in so much time and energy into crafting the perfect CV only for the recruiter to either not receive it, skip it, or look at it for like 3 seconds. My advice to combat this problem is that if there's a job that you fit everything for, this job was made for you, and you truly believe that you meet the majority of the requirements, you are just the perfect candidate. You don't just want to apply like a regular person and then you're just in the queue of these CVs. With these jobs, you want to make sure that you have a personal connection with either the hiring manager or the company, that you make sure that your CV is in the hands of a human being. Now, I need to make a video just on how to do this exact process. But yes, if you ever come across a job where you are so perfect for it, don't just apply online and then leave it at that, because there's a high chance that they either won't receive it, won't read it, or have a couple of seconds to read it. And you know what? If you found the perfect job, there's no need for you to miss out on this job because someone was so busy. Yes, this isn't perfect. They're only human. This industry is not perfect. They're doing the best that they can. But what would you do if you received 1,000 CVs and you only had an hour to go through them? So we could either complain about it, and say,
oh, recruiters suck.
Or we can understand where they're coming from and try our very best to be the ideal candidate and avoid some of these challenges. And the fourth thing that a recruiter might not tell you is that maybe your first impression at the job interview just ruined your chances. And it could be something trivial or like a combination of many trivial things that you did, and when you put them all together, you just turned off the company. So maybe you had like a weak handshake, sweaty palms, maybe you were not confident enough, maybe your voice wasn't strong enough, or you just did not gel well with the panel. Like, a lot of the times it's a chemistry thing, and if the direct line manager of the job that you're applying for is in the interview and they feel that they just didn't have that chemistry with you, they're not going to hire you, right? It's just human nature. We want to hire people that we'd like to work with. So it could be something like that you had a very weak first impression, and often a recruiter isn't going to tell you that because it's a bit offensive and it's very personal a lot of the time. So what you can do is make sure that when you go to a job, you are well prepared, you are confident, you have a firm handshake, you're well dressed, well put together, and you just do absolutely everything to make sure that you put your best foot forward. Number 5, a recruiter may not tell you that currently you are the client's second choice. So let's say you've gone to a job interview and you feel like it went really, really well, and you're expecting a response and some time has gone by and you haven't heard anything. Maybe you followed up and they've just told you, yes, they'll get back to you. Well, sometimes one of the reasons why recruiters ghost or take a bit longer than usual to reply is that they currently have somebody else who's their first priority and they're trying to convince them to sign an offer and take the job. And only when that candidate says no, then will they come to you. But they can't tell you you've been rejected until their first option has said no to the offer. And until the first option has said no, they're going to keep everybody hanging. Look, being the second choice is not a bad thing because this means you did really well. Maybe there was someone who was a little bit more qualified than you or some other reason. Usually, if you're the second choice, it means you're so close to getting that job. You're doing everything that you possibly can and you probably will get a job soon. It's just that maybe it wasn't this one. Often, if you were the second choice and the client really, really liked you, the recruiter will keep you on file and maybe try to see if you'd be suitable for something else because they know that you actually made quite a good impression on the client. So you become like a star job seeker in their eyes because you're proven, there was a client that was already very interested in you. So yes, they won't always tell you that you're the second choice because that's, again, also a bit offensive. So number 6 is that they could have gone higher in salary if only you had negotiated. Most of us aren't really that great at negotiating. It sucks, it's awkward, we don't really want to do it, but we have to in this day and age if you're going to avoid being exploited. You have to know what your market rate is before you go in and negotiate without a basis. So that could be your previous employment or just what the general market trend is for someone with your qualifications and experience. So don't just thumb suck a number. There has to be good reasons to back up why you're not happy with the offer. When it comes to negotiating, you really don't have that much to lose. If they say no, that they don't have the budget or some other reason, at least you know you would have tried. If you just accepted the very first offer that they gave you, how can you be sure that maybe they actually had more in budget? Time when the job seeker has the most balls in their court is when a company wants to hire you. Once they hire you, you're just another employee and good luck getting a raise. But in the beginning, they want to hire you. They want to make you part of their team. You're their first option. This is when you have the most leverage. So please make sure that you use this. Don't negotiate for the sake of negotiating. If the offer comes in and it's a good one and it's a fair one, go ahead and take it. But if you're able to negotiate, please do so. Yes, it may seem that a recruiter might want you to get a higher salary because that means that they get a higher cut, because we all know they get paid a percentage of your annual salary, usually between 10 and 25% of your annual salary. So the more money that the company pays you, the bigger cut that they get. But like I said in the beginning, their main drive is to get the candidate to sign as quickly as possible. They're only going to get that money if a candidate accepts the offer. So during the whole negotiation process, during everything that happened, they haven't received a cent from this client. So yes, they could push for you to get a higher salary, but more often than not, they're juggling multiple vacancies and they want to just get it filled as soon as possible. But if you want to negotiate, it's your responsibility to tell the negotiator that, listen, I think I'm worth a little bit more because of X, Y, and Z. And they will have some feedback. They'll tell you, look, I don't think the client will agree, or I know their budget, I don't think they're going to budge because of your experience, blah blah blah. They'll tell you the reason. But sometimes you never know, they might say, okay, let me try the client. At this point, the recruiter is relying on you. That's how they're going to receive the paycheck, because they're banking on you. You are their paycheck. They're only going to get paid once you sign on the dotted line. At this point now, you've got the company at the palm of your hand, you've got the recruiter at the palm of your hand, so do with that what you will. Number 7 is that maybe your references weren't very flattering. Sometimes people put references, maybe you don't actually have that great of a relationship with your referee and they don't say very flattering things about you. So what you can do, it's a little bit sneaky, but get a friend to call your references and see what they say about you so that you know what it is that your referees are actually saying about you. So those are 7 things that us as job seekers might not know about what's going on behind the scenes of our job applications. I hope that has helped you. I'm a fan of recruiters. I think that they play a very important important role because companies aren't always well equipped and well experienced in handling this, and they often know what's going on. And yes, there will still be those dodgy ones that aren't very good, but as a whole, I think the more that we know and understand about their job and their industry, the more that it can help us as job seekers to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward and we're gonna secure that job. Thank you for watching, and if you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get lots and lots more of this type of content. Have a good day. Bye. Like, this wig is too tight, but I think we did good.